Greetings, car fanatics. This is my 2010 Porsche 911 Carrera S, and today we're going to be completing the exterior modifications on the car. We're going to be installing these Mo-Shammer side skirts and Plasti dipping the rear bumper. But before we get started, let me talk about the modifications I've done to the car and the inspiration behind this project. When I was buying my Porsche in 2014, I was a huge fan of the 997 GTS, but unfortunately it was about $20,000 out of my price range, so I had to settle for a Carrera S model, and my car started off as this pretty basic 997 Carrera S. It's a little bit plain compared to the 997 GTS. So over the years, I did some modifications to the car to try to make the car look more and more like the 997 GTS. The first modification I did to the car was to make the rear end look less plain. I took Plasti dip and blacked out the rear bumper valance, the exhaust tips, and the emblem. Next, I had the stock silver wheels powder coated black with a machine lip to match the style of the 997 GTS wheels. Next, I was able to find a used GTS front bumper on eBay for about 400 bucks, and with some paint and repair work, I was able to fit this onto the car and basically make the front end of the car look exactly like the 997 GTS. However, the 997 GTS is a wide body car and it has side skirts and this black accent piece on the rear bumper. My car is a 997 narrow body and it doesn't have the ability to have side skirts or this black accent piece on the rear bumper. However, I finally found some side skirts that look good on the narrow body cars and it looks similar enough to the 997 GTS. I got these side skirts in and they came with a black primer on it. Alright, so let's get our side skirt painted. We're going to use some Plasti dip. I really like this because it has a nice flat finish. It's going to match the front lip, which I painted in Plasti dip. And if I don't like it, I could always remove it. Let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so for coat number one, we're going to do a tack coat. That means just a light coat that should be a little bit tacky, and that's going to help the Plasti dip adhere to the surface. So now we're going to give the Plasti dip about 5 minutes to cure, and it really depends on the temperature outside. Right now in Texas, it's super hot, so in about 1 minute, this will be dry. Alright, so for our next coat, we're going to give it a wet coat. That means we're going to spray on enough of the Plasti dip. That way it looks wet. That's going to give us a nice even finish, but be careful not to spray too much because you definitely don't want any runs. We're going to repeat this a few more times for a total of 5 coats. Alright, now it's time to install our side skirts. They're held on with double-sided tape. Now some people might screw them in, but you really don't need to. These side skirts each weigh less than probably a pound. The double-sided tape should be more than sturdy enough to hold this in place. So we want to start by prepping the surface by cleaning it off and using some rubbing alcohol to make sure we have a good surface for the double-sided tape to bond to. Before you press the side skirt onto the car, you want to make sure you have it in the right position because once the double-sided tape sticks, it'll be hard to remove. Let's take a close look at the fitment of the side skirts. When I first installed the side skirts, there was a little bit of a gap where the side skirt met the body of the car. So I used this window seal and I just caulked it. So to get a really clean line, I took some masking tape. I masked off the very top of the side skirt and also this part of the car. And that allowed me to get the seal nice and clean right in there. And then I just smoothed it out with my finger and I got a nice clean line across the entire side sill. And it looks really good. It's a much better fitment than without the seal. So definitely recommend that if you want to get an OEM look. With the side skirts mounted, let's go ahead and move on to the rear bumper. On GTS models, and also the Carrera 4S's, you have a black trim piece on the bottom of the bumper, and on the GTS that matches particularly well with the black lip and the black side skirts. I actually have the part from a vehicle. So we're going to create a template out of this, and we're actually just going to trace it here and Plasti dip it. So let's go ahead and check that out. Alright, so we have the template in place. Let's go ahead and mask off this area so we can Plasti dip it. Take your time when masking off the area to make sure you have nice straight lines. So now we're ready to spray the Plasti dip. Unlike what we did with the side skirts, we're actually going to apply a few layers of Plasti dip back to back. We're not going to let it fully dry because we need to remove this tape here while the Plasti dip is wet, and that's going to give us a clean line. If we let the Plasti dip dry and then we try to take off the tape, it's going to lift it up and mess it up. So let's go ahead and get started. So we have our first coat done. It's not fully dry, but it's still a little wet, but not wet enough to where if we add another coat, it's going to run. So let's go ahead and spray on our second coat. Repeat this process for a total of 5 coats. After the final coat, immediately remove the masking. That way the Plasti dip is still wet. This is going to allow you to remove the masking tape without lifting and messing up the Plasti dip. Alright, check this out. So this looks awesome. Look how clean the line is. And it's a little glossy right now, but that's because the Plasti dip hasn't fully cured. Once it does, it will be a very matte finish, so it should look pretty OEM. Alright, so we're all done. It's time for the grand finale reveal. Let's compare how the car looks to a 997 GTS. Alright, car fanatics, so after nearly 9 years, I think I'm done with the exterior modifications on my 997. I think I got pretty close to replicating the 997 GTS look. Let me know what you think about the car. Did I make it look better? Did I make it look worse? How does it look compared to the 997 GTS? In my opinion, it might even look better than the 997 GTS, but let me know what you think in the comment section below. Well, thanks for watching, car fanatics. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Leave me comments or questions below and be sure to hit the bell notification icon so you're notified each time I upload a new video. Thanks for watching.